Hey, so today we're going to do a head-to-head comparison. I haven't done a lot of those lately, but there's a reason why I'm doing this. This is super important. This is the Sigma MC-21. It's an EF adapter for L mount cameras, and I'm using it today with the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K full frame to use my EF lenses, and I'm going to compare it to the Viltrox. This one's called the Viltrox EF-L. Now, I originally got the MC-21 because it was the most popular one people are buying today, but I want to show you head-to-head the reason why I'm not going to use it anymore. And let's start. All right, so bottom line is, if you're following my channel, I have now 4 Blackmagic cameras. Right? The one I use most of the time for my primary camera, I guess some people would call that the A camera if they're in the biz. My primary camera here has been the Pocket Cinema Camera 6K G2. Absolutely love the camera. It performs beautifully. It's great in my studio. And then I also picked up, I guess I could pop over to that guy over there. This is the Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. All right, now I've got that in, and basically they're both set for the same aspect ratio. And that has a micro four thirds, which is kind of a thing. I had to adapt that, but I already had this camera here, which I'm going to be phasing out soon. And hello, this one here is a Lumix G95, I do believe, and that's from my shots here. And I wanted to kind of up my game, put better cameras across the board. So I buy that's not a Pocket, I keep going there. It's the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K full frame. Now, I wasn't really intending to have one of those because it was a little expensive, and if I had to choose between a camera that was $2,500, I would have chosen this one here. This is my 4th one, which I didn't mention because it's not plugged in today. But this here is the, as you might notice from here, it's got the little ND buttons. This is the Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro. Now, for what it's worth, for running gun, which I'm going to start doing on my channel finally, getting out in the field, this is going to be my camera of choice because of the ND filters, the brighter screen, etc., etc. But today we want to focus on, well, what happened when I got my, put that down the wrong way. What happened when I got my Cinema Camera 6K? Well, the first thing is it has an L mount. Now, that's a lot of people see that as a huge plus. It is a huge plus if you look at it because it gives you a lot of lens flexibility. And first and foremost, I thought to myself, well, the L mount is easily adapted. Here's the MC-21, easily adapted to an EF. And as you may see from this other shot here, I have a whole pile of EF lenses set up here to talk about today. So the first thing I had done was I said to myself, well, let me grab the 24 millimeter lens that I often use for this particular shot. Maybe I can swap it out and put this 6K full frame there. And now I not only get the 24 millimeter, but I could get a wider shot because there's a crop on the other camera. So if you're all familiar with the crop, I said, all right, maybe this could become my new studio camera. So bottom line is I took that lens. In fact, I have another 24 here. Let me get that one. Let me grab this one here. This is a 24. I have another 24 here. So I took that 24 millimeter lens, and this is full frame 24. This is the Canon stock 24 millimeter with a nice big lens. This one here, I do believe is a, what's its opening? I think it's an f2. No, it's a 1.4. It's a 1.4. No, it's a 2.8. This is 2.8. Anyhow, it's a 2.8. A nice focal length. So without further ado, I'm going to take the MC-21 and my 24 millimeter lens, the one that would be my go-to, and I'm going to put that on there. And there. So the first thing you'll notice is the camera is currently in arm's length. So 24 millimeter should be great, right? So I put that now on there. Now I'm going to switch without further ado to that lens. And now I'm on that lens with the MC-21, the Sigma MC-21. Now, because I'm using Blackmagic cameras, I could trigger the focus with a button. And it missed. And I'm trying it again, and it doesn't retry. I'm literally pushing the button that otherwise would retry. I could also do this with the Blackmagic, not the Blackmagic, the Bluetooth Plus app. So again, I could normally go in there, hit connect, and then hit a button, and then trigger the autofocus. So basically, it took one attempt to focus on me, and it did not succeed. It literally did not succeed. So at this moment, I have a lens. I'm pushing the reset, the focus button, nothing. It tried, but it missed again. I'm going to try again, and I'm tapping, and it's just not happening, right? So there it goes again. So that's what happens there. I could control the iris seemingly with this 24 millimeter lens just to show you that the app is in fact talking to it. So I'm going to take it, and I'm just going to bring it up. I'm now at an f16. I'm going to bring it back down to a 2.8, which is where it usually likes to live on this lens. So you can see the MC-21 from Sigma is a no-go as far as the 24 millimeter Canon. So without further ado, let's switch back so you can see me again. I am now going to take that same lens. I'm going to mount it on the Viltrox. And take it right off. And again, it's close to me because it's arm's length. There it goes. Off goes that, taking the MC-21 off, putting it on the Viltrox. Let's mount it up, line up the red dot. Again, this is all happening in real time for your entertainment. And lock it in. Now, switching over to lens 2, also still out of focus. It's still arm's length. But I'm going to now push the famous little focus button that's on my control panel here. And there I am. I'm in focus. Once again, I could pull out my app just to show you that that's still responsive. I'm going to choose the same camera because I have the three of them in Bluetooth visible to me right now. So success, right? I'm 24 millimeters. I could just again to show the iris is responding. All is good. This particular lens, I'm putting it back to 2.8. So score 1 for the Viltrox. Viltrox handles the 24 millimeter absolutely flawlessly. Now, I could go through a whole bunch of lenses, and believe me, I have. And if we look back down over here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't know if I counted that. Let's say I have at least a dozen lenses here, and consistently I would plug those lenses into the MC-21. I hate that view. Into the MC-21, and I would get very bad autofocus. Most of the time, nothing. So the idea was I wanted to know what lens I could use from my desk, and I wanted a 24-ish. And by the way, you can see it's ridiculously close. There it is. I'm touching the lens. So a 24 at this distance is great. I can mount this on the desk instead of on a tripod right now to get that other lens that is also a 24. That's my power shot over there. That one has a crop because it's the Pocket Cinema Camera 6K, the one we're looking at right now. This is the 6K G2, which, by the way, fundamentally, as far as I'm concerned, the picture I get on the G2, and I'm going to do some more head-to-heads because I have all 4 of these now, and this camera here, this is the Cinema Camera 6K full frame, and then over here, the 4K, the original 4K, and again, the 6K Pro I have over there, but it's not plugged in for this shot. As far as I'm concerned, my wires are all over the place. As far as I'm concerned, by the way, there are wires here. See, I like to have monitors, and I'm going to talk about my favorites. What I'm using right now is a Shure SE215. So, and I'm always looking at the wrong camera. So the idea here is out of the box. Everyone seems to be using and raving about the MC-21. And out of all the lenses that are on this desk, and I'll show you a few more just to drive the point home, the only one that I seem to be able to plug in and not have a problem, that it would nail focus when I hit that focus button every time with the MC-21, was the Canon 40 millimeter. It's like a pancake-sized lens with I think it's a pretty fast lens, and it's got a macro mode. This one here is a 2.8 as well. And this is an STM, which means when it does focus, it's quiet and it's smooth, but it locks the focus very well with the MC-21. Now, you would think, oh, maybe that's because of some sort of a Sigma thing. So, oh, there's the wire. So let me show you here. Sigma lens, and I do believe one of these is labeled as Tokina, but it's actually a Sigma manufacturer. So I have quite a few lenses, some very wide ones. So I'm going to take a real Sigma lens, and I'm going to mount that right now on the MC-21, which again is made by Sigma. You'd think, well, giving it the best possible chance, maybe it just doesn't like Canon lenses. So here's the Sigma lens. This particular one is a Sigma. What are we looking at here? This one is a 20-200. Actually, is it 20 or 28? It's 28-200. So this is a 28-200, and I'm going to put it in autofocus mode, and I'm going to start it at 20, and I'm going to pop this on our number 2, which is the full frame, and that's it. Pull that out. Pull that out. Put it on the side. So here we are. Sigma lens, Sigma adapter, MC-21, Blackmagic 6K, full frame, and I gotta line up the dot. There. Locked in, lock and load. And there it is. So here I am on the Sigma. It's a Sigma 28-200. And again, just to show you, I'm going to hit that focus button. Let me get myself in the center because we know it's center. It only focuses in the center. Here. It found me, but it stopped. It's still going. The lens went, and it just went too far. So it didn't work on the first attempt. I'm going to hit the second attempt. You saw I was in focus for a very brief. I'm not touching anything. I was in focus for a brief amount of time. I'm going to hit a third attempt. So it's spinning. I'm not touching it. There's nobody behind the camera. It actually got it on like the third or fourth attempt. And just to drive the point home, I'm going to get out of the shot, try to focus on the background. I hit it twice. That's not the background. It went in focus, and now I'm not in focus, of course, so I'm going to do it again. I was in focus for a brief moment there, and right now it's still searching. It's going for a moment there. So it kind of eventually caught up. So I'll give that a half point for eventually catching up. If I want to play with the zoom a little, let's do that. Let's get close. That's a wicked weird shot, but I'm going to push that there. So it kind of worked a little better. Sigma hyper zoom. So this is a Sigma compact hyper zoom. It says here it's a 28-200. It's a 3.5 to 5.6. So that's why I got darker. I could pull out the app and then play with the ISO to compensate for the smaller opening. But the bottom line is it did kind of work with that one. So I give it a little bit of credit for that one. I'm going to switch back, pull this out, and get the little button on there that loosens the lens. So one Sigma, that kind of worked. So I'm happy with that one. This back on here. My other Sigmas. I have a few Sigmas here. Here we go. Nice chunky lens. This one here is a wide angle. How wide? It is a 20. So this is a 20 millimeter at a 1.8. Again, genuine Sigma. Locked into the autofocus mode. All other signs should be that it would work. Putting that on. There we go. Locked in. Again, switching back to that camera. And I'm going to, there it is, adjusting for the aperture change. Let me give it just the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give that lens and it's a 20. You can see it's a much wider view, which is great. I'm connecting. I'm going to play with the aperture. I could do that right from the iPhone app, Bluetooth Plus. Great little app. Let's bring my aperture. Right now it jumped over to a 4.8. So I'm going to bring it back down. It's a nice fast lens. In fact, I can go down. I'm at a 1.8 now. And I'm going to hit the famous click for the focus. And ta-da! Let's do it again. I was in focus for a second, then it went away. I'm going to hit a third time. And that's the autofocus I got from this here right now. And now it's just clicking. It's clicking. Now it's all over the place. So let's get an apples to apples comparison just to go and drive this point home. I'm going to take the Viltrox, taking that Viltrox adapter, and this time I have to unmount the whole thing plus the adapter. I'm going to take the MC-21 off, take the same lens that didn't work at all a moment ago, put it in there, mount the whole thing. So this is Viltrox, same Sigma lens, going back in, find my little line. Where's my line? Yeah, it's over here. And there. Now, it's such a big lens, you can see it in this shot. So back to over here, starting off roughly in the same boat, pushing the famous zoom focus button. And it's pretty close to locked in. Yeah, that's it. It's a good perfect. So the Viltrox with the Sigma lens is working great. It's giving me everything I can. I didn't adjust my so I didn't adjust my iris at all. But it's working great. It's triggering from my ATEM. It's triggering from my Mac ATEM thing. It's triggering from the app. All the controls seem to be working great. This is a zoom. Oh, no, that was the focus ring. I do believe this is not just, I thought this was a, this is not the zoom. I have this one. I have another one that can also zoom. This one here. This one zooms from f14. Hey, look, it's a perfect, this angle. This is a token, which is really, it says Sigma to a lot of the things when it's plugged in. Where was the Rokinon? Anyhow, hey, look at the perfect view here. This is the one I confused with that, where it goes, oddly enough, from 14 to 20. So it's a wide angle that could become an even wider angle, although I'll definitely do a presentation on that at another time, because when you do, it's labeled in it's labeled an EF lens, not EFS, but when you go to 14, it actually looks like it's got a small opening. So I'm going to talk about a lot of these lenses in future videos, so if you haven't already started following me, you might want to subscribe. In fact, there's going to be some crazy stuff I have coming up in the next coming weeks. Here's something as a teaser of what's coming. This may seem like the oddest lens you've ever seen. It'll be in a future video. It's square. Oh, you say, well, why is it square? Well, first of all, it's a 52 millimeter screw-on, so you screw it onto a lens, right? So you start off with like one of these nice wide lenses, 24 or 40 or whatever it is I got. And look what happens to take the cap off. Uh-oh. And I'm going to shoot these with multiple different cameras just to show the final effect. Whoa. It's got two lenses. This is a 3D lens made back in the 70s or 80s. I forgot how long, but they're out there, and I'm going to talk about that and show you how we can make 3D. The new buzz lately with Apple's spatial video, right? Well, we're going to make spatial videos with Blackmagic 6K full frame, 4K, with Canon cameras, with Lumix cameras. In fact, I bought 2 or 3 other 3D lenses, so there's going to be a lot of fun this summer. So stick around. Lots of cool things to go over. I'm not going to go over every single one of these lenses, but you get the gist of it. The MC-21. Oh, and by the way, another follow-up. The MC-21, it's possible that one of the reasons it doesn't do well is because of a firmware thing. So I do have the latest firmware in the Blackmagic, which is still a beta, but that's only part of the point. So long story short, as if that's not already the case, this is a long video so far, that there is a firmware inside of the Sigma adapter. I can't find it. Where did I put the darn thing? Here. So this is the Sigma adapter. Now, oddly enough, unlike the Viltrox, they did not put a USB port on the lens to download the adapter, because the original designs, I guess, for Sigma cameras was that they would do firmware updates through the camera. So what they have done is Sigma makes, I have two of them. They make, these are docks, lens docks. This one is the UD01, and this was the UD11. I forgot which one was the Canon, but I do have this one, and I'm going to take it out of the box roughly for the first time. So what does this translate into? You pull one of these things out, and it has a USB port, and it has a regular lens cap on it. So you basically take your Sigma mounted adapter, and then you can feed it firmware, update, view the firmware, and tweak the settings. So I will find out whether the MC-21 can be made to work better by using the docking it with my MC-21, and finding, hopefully, a firmware that makes it work. So there's hope for the MC-21, and it's possible that some people are having better luck, or maybe most of them don't care because they're manually focusing, but I'm a self-shooter. I sit at my desk, I push a button, I focus on myself, I make sure I'm good. Before I start each video, I try to make sure that I haven't adjusted the thing, although most of the time when I sit there, the lens is where I left it. Sometimes it's not. And the idea is I need to be able to focus with a button like I've been doing here and get a great shot. So it may be a lot of the people aren't complaining because all they really wanted is iris control and they didn't care that it didn't focus right. I did care, so I decided to get the docks. I have multiple ones. I have one that I could do the reprogram, the ones for the Canon. So at this point, that's where we stand. The MC-21 is going back in the box until I can tinker with it with this. I haven't found success with anything to do fully supported focus when I need it on demand, other than the 40 millimeter. And I've tried a whole pile of them. It occasionally worked on some of the Sigmas, but not as well as the Viltrox. The Viltrox is doing it every time. So that's where I am. Stick around for future experiments with the Viltrox and the MC-21 and all these adapters and docks and 3D lenses, and I'm going to go through all kinds of crazy stuff. So thanks for watching.